Look, I welcome, if the division has been reborn, if there was a renaissance, it started the moment Fury got up. And it's because we have a rivalry.
Yeah, I wanted to piggyback off of that. You know, even more than just having a rival, because I think there's a lot of rivals in the sport in every weight class, right? But a lot of the big fights aren't getting made. What I respect about both of these guys the most is the spirit in which they possess. They possess the same spirit of the fighters, the heavyweights, who went before them and who laid the bricks on the path that they're now walking on. That willingness to risk it all. We say those things, but they're really risking it all. And now, some may say they're making tens of millions of dollars, so what are they really risking? Well, you got two prideful men who have countries on their backs. They're risking embarrassment, they're risking their pay scale, because if they lose, they're not making what they're gonna make in the rematch. They're risking their legacy, bragging rights, reputation, all of those things. And whether we admit it or not as fighters, they're processing all of that this week. They're managing fears, they're managing doubts, they're reminding themselves of the work they put in and why they belong on this stage. They can have rivals, but if they're not willing to toe the line and go to their team and demand that certain fights are made, then we won't have rivals that actually fight each other to create rivalries. So we not only had one great fight, we're getting ready to have another one Saturday night.
Absolutely, and this is why this fight feels like it's such a blessing to boxing right now. I'm going to open up the floor to you guys so that you guys can get your questions in. Do we have microphones? Can anybody tell me? We do? Wonderful. So if you guys...
Which one's Carpenter?
Who has a microphone?
Right here.
Santa? Give us a second to get to you, sorry. Gentleman here in the second.
Hey guys, thanks for taking time to answer our questions and address these topics. Andre, I specifically want to ask the question you just raised. Why aren't more boxers demanding that these fights be made cross promotion? As you talked about, giving you guys credit for kind of doing this and making sure the fans get to see these fights. Why are more boxers doing that? Any of you guys can?
And I don't have an absolute answer, but to be able to face the other baddest man in your division, to be willing to go rattle that cage, it can be scary business. It's not an easy thing to do. You gotta face your nerve, you gotta face your fears, because when you do something like that, you're on a stage in front of the whole world. You take your shirt off, you got 10 or 8 ounce gloves, depending on what weight class you're in, and you go fight another man and try to back up all the talk that you've talked in front of the whole world and all of you guys. And if you lay an egg, you guys are gonna write about it. It takes a lot of courage to do that. And I don't think there's a lot of guys who want to do that. They want to be Money Mayweather, but they don't want to go through the pretty boy Floyd Mayweather stage where you're grinding and nobody's watching, and you're grinding and nobody's watching, and you're telling the world how great you are, nobody's listening, but you're facing the best to continue to amass a resume and a reputation where you ultimately get that top spot and you can prove it on the biggest stage. Guys don't want to go through that stage. They want to sidestep the pretty boy Floyd stage. They want to sidestep all the dark days when nobody's watching and listening, and they want to get straight to the money and the jewelry. So that looks good on the surface, but if you scratch a little bit, you see that there's some chinks in that armor.
It's a huge risk. And you also potentially, look, you got to face the fear of, will I lose? But you also have to face the idea that you may be bucking your own promoter, and you don't want to fight the hand that feeds you, or do you? So you have to come out. I think for most fighters to make something like this happen, you have to come out and say, I want this. You have to come out publicly, and that's a very lonely place to be.
Just to add on that, you know, both of these heavyweights wanted each other from day one. Nobody wanted to sidestep each other. You know, Deontay came over to England. You know, he was searching for a great fight. Nobody wanted to fight him. Tyson Fury answered the call and came over to America and answered the call. So, you know, a good job for both of them. And this is what we need from great fighters. They don't want to sit back and take no easy fights. They want to fight the very best and prove that they're the best. Very important.
Next question.
Lennox, Sean Patel, FightHype.com. Lennox, you know a thing or two, obviously, about landing that right hand, the bazooka right hand you had. What does Deontay have to do, right here, Lennox, right up front?
What does Deontay have to do in this fight?
That he didn't do the first time to actually get the knockout.
You know, be more accurate with his punches, start the game off a little better. I think both fighters know each other right now, so they don't really have to waste time and say, oh, I need to figure you out. They know each other already. They've watched countless tapes on each other. What they needed to do is actually, you know, go back and really train and say, what do I want to do in this fight? What can I do more of? What mistakes did I make in the first fight? What don't I have to do in the second fight? So, and it really comes down to, you know, what plans they have for this fight. If they have an A game and a B game, and what works for them. And I think corners matter as well. You know, with the information that's given to each fighter when they go out there for each round is very important. So I'll be watching and listening to what they'll be saying.
For Deontay? Jab. So Mark Breland says, JD says, jab, close to that right eye, jab. It's also to create your distance too.
It's what sports science says too, because the sports science that Andre Ward meticulously researched.
Dr. Andre Ward.
When Deontay lands that left hand first, he lands at a double-digit increase in accuracy behind that. So it's one of the punches that he rarely uses. It's worked for him so far because he has that eraser on the right hand, but after 12 rounds with Tyson Fury, who was hard to find in that first fight, I mean, he'd be well served to land that left, especially, you know, taking into account that the right eye's been cut, 47 stitches, put that to the test. So, you know, Mark Breland, the whole team is aware that the jab is going to be a key for this fight.
Go ahead.
So guys, once again, I want to thank you for your time. Marcus Hayes, FightHype TV. Gentlemen, it was mentioned earlier by Andre Ward about managing your fears as a fighter. I think all of us regular folk in the room would like to know exactly what are the processes that you go through in order to manage the fears, because there has to be some sort of real fear in getting in the ring and getting down for a championship battle.
Who was that?
This is for all the champions, if anybody wants to answer.
All right, let me, when you say managing your fear, you know, for me, my fear was losing and not being able to do what I do best. You know, going in there and performing the best. I guess from how I managed my fear was just making sure that I was properly prepared, making sure I was in great shape, making sure I was working on the things I needed to work on to perfect them. You know, example, my jab. Working on my jab and making sure that it was the best out there, that it was going to do the job that I needed it to do for me.
For me, I believe that fear is something that is, it starts with your mentality. It starts with how you think, then it moves into how you feel. If you allow it to, it'll determine the way you walk. It'll determine the way you talk. It'll determine everything you do. For me, I've always put fear in the back of my mind. I've always denied fear. I've always said, nah, that ain't true. No, I can do it. I've always talked to myself in a very positive way so that anything that is negative or anything that could be to someone else a fear, anything like that, I've always played almost a mind game with myself to keep myself safe, to keep my emotions intact, to keep my physical intact, and to make sure that I always went out and fought the way that I could fight and do the things that I know in my heart that I can do. I believe in Deontay Wilder and in Tyson Fury. There's very little fear at this point in both of their hearts and in both of their minds. Both of them believe that they're gonna walk out of that ring Saturday night victorious. Both of them believe that they're gonna knock one another out. There's not very much fear getting in the ring on Saturday night, and we are all in for a treat.
Look at Timmy's game first.
What?
What about the fear, man?
Come on, Desert Storm. How did you deal with fear?
I was always scared of tail, man.
Hey, he said, I'm still dealing with it.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie, I was always scared of tail. I mean, honestly, I think that once you understand fear, it's a natural mechanism that God has given us. Once you understand that, I think you're able to deal with it. I just know that, you know, being nervous is a good thing. The more relaxed you are, the better you're gonna be. That's it. And you know, there's things that creep into your head while you're in the hotel room.
And you just gotta just tell it, no, that's not what's gonna happen. And I think that the harder that you work in the gym, that kind of takes care of his fear as well. And that's the reason why I worked so hard in the gym, so that way I didn't doubt myself. That way I didn't say, oh, why didn't I run that extra mile when I'm in the ring and say, I'm in a tough spot. I know that I did enough. I know that it's in me. I know that I'm meant to be in this position. So that's how I dealt with it. But I ain't gonna lie, I was always scared as hell.
I think everyone out there right now, if Tyson Fury said, oh yeah, I'm nervous as hell, y'all would all think that he's not ready for the fight. Being nervous is not a problem. It's all about how you manage it. And I think that everyone up here, the champions, we've been able to manage our emotions and our pride. We've been able to manage our confidence. We've been able to manage our family lives in comparison to our professional lives. And we've all been able to make it up here right now because we understood how to handle our fears. Even if we're talking about the champions of television, the champions of reporting, you guys have all been able to manage everything you come up against, which is why you're up here right now. And those guys are gonna do that on Saturday night.
I'll do it like Tim. I'm gonna go at it head first.